There's music because I'm gonna be playing some music. Hey, Alan, hold on for a second. Alan, unmute yourself. I want to know if you can hear the music. Let's see, where is he at? Oh yeah, I didn't admit him yet. Okay. Hey, Alan. Alan.
Here I am.
Okay. Can you hear the music?
Yes.
Good. Okay, good. Okay. Thank you, Ira. We got it going. All right, thank you. All right.
This is the Godfather Soul James Brown. I tell you, this business is on. My man is on. Check him out. This is the Godfather Soul James Brown saying stay with it and hit it. Okay, thank you very much.
All right. Tonight it's working, and Alan, I want to play this. Let me go back over here. I'm going to find something in my inbox that I wanted to play.
All right. While you're doing that, I'll just ask the folks that are joining us, do you want a Chihuahua? Yes, you too can have a dog just like mine. My dog's name is Niklaus, and he's such a beautiful Chihuahua. They bark, they bite, they scratch, they poop in the house. Anyway, did you find your thing?
Yep, I found it.
All right, here we go.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, for people who are on the left and who are radical, who don't want the Pledge of Allegiance to be a part of our life every day and to be said in public.
It's no big deal. It's only been around since 1954 anyway, or something like that. I don't know.
Yes.
Anyway, go ahead.
I'd like to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I'm sorry, but that's you. The United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd note that that's out of order. And
You're out of order, Mayor.
It sounds like the cancel culture got canceled.
Yes.
Wow.
So
that's pretty crazy. Where'd that happen?
In Colorado. I think it's Silverton, Colorado. In Colorado, it was this city board meeting, and the mayor stepped in to I guess he's reprimanding somebody there, and they said, "Well, from here on out, we're not going to have the Pledge of Allegiance." And they said, "Wait, we didn't vote on that. And who are you?" And then he threatened to throw him out and all that kind of stuff. And so he's just another Polis wannabe, another Hancock wannabe, even though Hancock is bad, but not as bad as King Polis of Colorado. And people, if you live in a blue state and your mayor and governor are overreaching, and it's more of these social justice, radical left-wing communistic socialist communists running your state, running it into the ground. We here in Colorado, we know how you feel, and we feel your, like Bill Clinton says, we feel your pain. Oh
Yes, we
man.
do. Yes, we do. We
So
got a fun show for you guys tonight. What do we got on deck? A lot of stuff going on. We got Juneteenth. We got a couple of other things. Now, Juneteenth is an interesting thing because it depends on who I talk to. I get the response from the Black community that basically one it's 6 of one and half dozen of the other. Some folks have never heard of it, and other folks have been celebrating it for years. Where do you stand on this, Johnny?
well, like I said, I mean, it's just been around since a long time. When I started being able to travel, and then I would go down to 5 Points and find out, heard things from other young people in school, and I just been just doing it. And then years later, I met people who started it and who was part of it, and then how another committee took over it and got it more exposure. And I was back there during the days when I guess crazy stuff would break out. People would shoot in the air for whatever crazy reason, and so then the SWAT team would come in and they would tear gas to clear the area, and now I guess they treat the Demo one just like they do the jazz festival. They put fencing around it. They control who goes in and who comes out. Who goes in, and metal detectors and things of that sort. But unlike
So it's pretty secure nowadays. It's unless it's a festival.
Unless you're like in Aurora, and they had the official one in Aurora on Saturday that went off without a hinge. But some other people decided they wanted to do one, and then they didn't have security. The crowd got out of control. Someone was looking for someone who did something to someone's gang member or whatever, and then they let loose about 114 bullets, killing one person. And so it happens when you get these situations together and you don't have enough security there. So if something does happen, you have a response to it instead of people just and it's a shame that you just can't drink, have fun, and not look behind your back for what fool might be doing something stupid.
But the bottom line is, it's not just a holiday that sprang out of the air. It's been something that's been quietly celebrated since its inception. Back in Texas, I guess what happened is the slaves that were currently being owned by some of the slave owners in Texas, mainly there were northern folks that owned slaves. But there were some folks in the South that still owned some slaves, and Texas happened to be one of them. It ended up that the Postal Service didn't reach Galveston for a couple of years after the Civil War had ended, and the Emancipation Proclamation took place and all that stuff. And so apparently, when that took place, why that really gave everybody an ability to go ahead
and celebrate,
have an underground holiday that really took off. Well, just this year now, and so we get to be a pivotal portion of history where folks get to be recognized, and I really think that's super awesome to learn about pieces of history that are good, and there are also ones that are not so good, like the Tulsa massacre and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
What do you know about that one?
Well, I just know that it was this what had happened, and it was something that was brewing that the poor people saw that this was this community that was full of these Black people, and they were thriving, and they had their own doctors, they had their own this and that, banks and stuff like that. And so this other poor community was getting jealous of it, this one. And so one day this Black guy he was in the city, and he went up an elevator, and somehow they decided, well, let's say that he tried to rape her or whatever. And so that gave them the excuse to go over there to that town and really like literally burning down. People, had to run for their lives. They killed about, I think about
Wow.
300 of them. And then after all was said and done, the guy that they said that raped the school, he quietly left that town, and he wasn't put in jail. He wasn't, put on trial. It was just an excuse because these poor people felt so jealous of these people that they were thriving, and they couldn't just say, well, let's if they can do it, let's do it.
So our history
that
really,
was always me.
the moral of the story being our history, good or bad, is to be remembered so that it can either be celebrated or sometimes, learned from and changed. And in all cases, it can be learned from. That's for sure.
Yeah, I heard this speech of the guy that I guess he was almost like 100 years old. His sister was I think 101 or whatever, and he was 100 years old, and he was one of the survivors back then. And I said, "Wow, it's like, it's just so funny. It's so wild to see people that live that long and they can look back in history and say, hey, I was there, and that kind of stuff." So.
I tell you, I'm a carnivore, and I smoke a lot of cigarettes, and I drink a lot of coffee and things like this. I ain't gonna live much into my 60s, much less 100. But wouldn't you say, Johnny, that our health is super important? Actually, all joking aside, I mean, our health is super important to get into, and less meat, more vegetables is always a good thing. Maybe a fish, once in a while, or maybe a chicken once in a while, but something like that. More vegetables always is a good thing,
and more water, because
more water. Yeah,
I had a friend that he just moved to Texas, and he actually got put in the hospital because he was dehydrated, and he said he didn't even know because he was so used to living here in Colorado, but in Texas the weather's so hot, you're sweating, you're letting out all that water. And if you don't replenish yourself, you can just accidentally become dehydrated.
That's an interesting point that you make too, because I've heard that the filtered waters out there and the bottled waters and things, they're oftentimes no different than the tap waters. And so, what you want to do is really filter your own water, and then that gets expensive. And then what do you do? And by golly, I mean, and then you got this different philosophy where you can put your own minerals, your sodium bicarbonate, your calcium and your magnesium and whatever the heck you think you need in there to make yourself super healthy and wonderful. I don't know.
At least hydrated.
At least hydrated, what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but there's definitely water is definitely good for you.
Oh yeah. I was just was talking to a friend of mine today about I guess during this lockdown, she started like learning how to grow cucumbers and cherry tomatoes and like vegetables, like where she has control, where she knows what's in it and what's been sprayed on it. Because she's gonna.
That's absolutely right.
And
I
don't know about you. I used to eat watermelons back in the day, and with the seeds in it. I had my wife get me a watermelon today, and I ate it, and I swear to you, it tastes like some kind of petroleum product inside the watermelon. Now I don't know what these guys are doing, how they're taking this, how they're growing these watermelons without the seeds and whatever, and they think they're doing me a favor, but leave it alone. I know what a real watermelon tastes like, and maybe there's some people, they don't know what a real watermelon tastes like because they're like 20 years old or they're like 15 years old. And so they just say, hey, this tastes like watermelon to me, because they don't know what the real thing tastes like.
For years, I have to tell you this, Johnny, and this is a funny story before we get into the booking people for music and stories that go behind that. For years, I hated watermelon. There's a reason behind that. We used to go fishing a lot, and a lot of people would like to put a handle of whatever of your choice into the into the watermelon, put it in the river, and let it get cold, if you know what I mean. You know what I mean?
Okay. Okay.
So I was eating some of these slices, and I got sick is what I got. So I hated watermelon for years. So I
Wow.
quit eating it. And I remember it from back when I was a kid. It would taste sweet and good and everything like this. But oftentimes, it wouldn't taste so sweet or so good, because I will tell you, it would just taste like, your basic
Lake.
lake. Yeah, your lake.
Wow.
But, nowadays, because I've gotten away from eating watermelon, I haven't even touched it for years. And then I had a slice the other day. It's interesting because it doesn't taste quite like it used to.
Yeah. So I'm asking my wife, until we can find a place that sells seed with seed.
With seeds.
And watermelon, I'm not having it anymore. It's just, only during the summertime, I gotta eat stuff that's in season. So he's like, I don't do this stuff during the wintertime because I know we can get it here wintertime because they truck it in. But I said, no, but that just, I don't know, that just really turned me off. So but, there it is. And one more thing on the Juneteenth. If you remember last year, President Trump was going to have an event on July. It was a weekend of Juneteenth. No, I guess it was on a Friday. And, the community said, hey, if you can put that on the next day, because we're having the Juneteenth celebration. And that's when a lot of people had heard about it.
Oh,
that
interesting.
year when he was going to have this event. And they would say, if it falls on the same day as Juneteenth, could you do it another day? And he switched the date of one of his Trump rallies.
Oh, that's fascinating, huh?
So that just stuck out to me because I just thought everybody knew about it. And then I started finding out not everybody did know about it. And that was like July of last year. So
I think that's awesome. So
let's talk about some of the fun things that happen when you're trying to book a band. Now, I've had some success in booking bands, and then I've had some not so successful things when booking bands.
I've been part of the band that has been booked before, but that's about as close as I got.
Well, did you ever get the time when a guy comes in and say, well, we're not getting paid tonight? He said, well, why? Yep. I thought people did.
Yep.
He said, well, the manager decided, and I was surprised that managers do this. They decided not to pay us because we were supposed to have 50 people in and we only had 45 people. So they decided to keep the money.
Well, that's what the Musicians Guild was founded for initially, so that folks would be able to at least have some sort of recourse that they could use to keep from being in a predicament where they not get paid, things like that. There are all kinds of fees and all kinds of things that do go into play that have to be considered and whatnot. But, that used to be a way to protect yourself. I don't even know if that even is around or a thing anymore. Do you know anything about the Musicians Guild, Johnny?
Yeah, there's one. And then there's the Blues Guild as well. They're around. But I don't know how active they are because I belong to a group called Combo. And they helped out a lot of musicians in situations like that. But because they've been in the business and some of them are ex-bookers or ex-band managers. They said it was this one lady who was telling the story when she was drunk. She was a club owner, and it was a band that she owed $1,000 to, but they were a traveling band, and they brought in a lot of people. And she said, I'm not going to pay them. And she knows that they're not going to come back and sue them because it would probably cost $1,000 to come back and sue her for the $1,000 that she stole.
That's a lot of money.
And I'm not sure what kind of life these people live where they think that karma won't come back and get you when you do stuff like this. And so when I first started doing this, I was a promoter, and I was booking shows at this one place called the Stagecoach. Well, it was out in Aurora. It was in Aurora, and this guy, real nice manager, owner and manager, and so I would book the band. And I would say, okay, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna put your tickets online, and get your fans to start buying tickets online, and they can buy tickets at the door. And I pretty much know which bands were out there working because I would see the money start coming in, because I would give them a discount if they buy tickets online, and then it'd be so much if they bought tickets. It'd be a higher price if they bought the tickets at the door. So of course that got them to start buying tickets. And
my only problem is I'm on a fixed income, so I'm always broke. So basically, whenever that happens, man, I go to Ticket Hold'em or some of these other ones that are out there, and I'll have to wait to purchase because I just don't have the money. So, but they are a good way to reserve your ticket, a good way to keep track of your band, and that kind of thing. Go on though. I'm sorry, Johnny.
So I had this one group, and great theatrical group, older group. A lady, it was one lady. She could dance with a sword on her head, and like a belly dance and stuff like that, and just a very interesting group. Well, it was during that time where they had the protesters about the banks. I forgot what the protest was called.
Probably the Occupy Wall Street time, around there.
During that time. Yeah. And so they swore to me, they said, Johnny, we have all these people from Boulder. We tell them about our show. They're going to come down here. Why don't you rent Grizzly Rose and we'll pack that place out.
And we'll pack that place out. Wow, what happened?
Well, I said, maybe the second show, maybe we'll do another show, but let's do this show and then have people around the building, and then we'll offer those people tickets to go see at the Grizzly Rose, but let's try to fill this place that holds 50 people first before we try to do Grizzly Rose that holds 500 to 1,000 people. So I said, okay, we'll do that. And so I let them go out and do the promotion and stuff like that. And so the night of the show, oh man, 3 people showed up, and the bar had the regulars, which the agreement I have with the owner, I didn't charge the regulars, I just charged for our shows, right?
So this wasn't during it wasn't 3 people. That was a dead night.
Yeah, and then afterwards they just scratched it and said, I don't know what happened. I said, it doesn't matter because it didn't happen to me. If I would have rented that Grizzly Rose and 3 people showed up in 1,000 or 500 place sitting, I think my name would have been spread all across Colorado saying, don't ever work with Johnnie or Innervision, because this is what's going to happen.
So what do you do in that event where your booking just isn't what your goal is?
I knew it wasn't, because I said I need to have so many sales online before even the show will go on, right? So I said, if you can't get anybody to buy any tickets online, and the tickets was like cheap. It was like $9, $5, I'll really give them a break online. And I said, if you can't get anybody to buy any tickets online, then I pretty much know that this is just going to be a rehearsal time for you on stage. And I would hire a cameraman, and if they couldn't get anybody to come in to buy tickets and whatever, or come see them, then I would just videotape the ones that could bring people. Because I said, well, that's not fair for me to videotape you. You didn't bring anybody. They did. They brought their audience. You didn't. You're feeding off of their audience, but you have no audience here of your own.
Now, back in the old days, the band would bring groupies. They would go ahead and invite like 10, 15 of their friends, just so that at least there would be a showing. What do you do nowadays? especially in the, well, what do you do nowadays when you don't get paid or stuff
okay.
like
That
this?
happened. We were at we just did a show at Moe's Barbecue. A lot of people there. A lot of people like bought tickets on my site. So on my side, the band did get paid, but on the website of Moe's, they had tickets for people that bought tickets. I had one friend that is a piano guy. He tunes pianos, and he says, and I just got an email saying, "Sorry, we missed you. We were there, and we really enjoyed the band." So they bought tickets, but and I have a feeling that more than the ones that he said bought tickets, but he just said, "Now we refuse to pay," and so buyers beware, and especially I guess these young guys. I guess the young guys will put up with that stuff, and the food is so overpriced. I don't know why Moe's have to play that game. And maybe it's not Moe's. Maybe it's the promoters. Maybe it's the door guys. Maybe they got something going on. But when that happens, but they're not the only ones that do things like that.
So it just happens, and you just kind of move on. Or
Yeah, you move on, but you let them know that we're going to spread the word that this is your policy, and people can leave comments in the comment line. Because I was dealing with this guy named Alex. He's never there. He always has this other guy doing the door, and then so I got emails that say if I'm the manager. I come in, I say, hey, I have my list here. My name is on the list. He says, oh, well, sorry, we can't look at, and this is an Excel sheet that they see on their side and I see on my side. And so, they say, well, we still have to charge you the full price because your list doesn't matter. And so so I hate it when places, and this doesn't happen a lot, changes the rules as it goes.
Ladies and gentlemen, speaking of getting paid, we got to keep the lights on. So hit us up at paypal.me at Innervision Denver. And for any topics and stuff, hit us up at info@innervisionfm.com. Okay. And we'll see what we can get on there.
Okay, and of course, I think I had it in the list right there. So it's PayPal.me/Innervision Denver, and you can donate any amount. And don't forget, give us some thumbs up and share the show, and subscribe. We lost like a couple of subscribers because I thought maybe they thought like we had bands all the time. Sometimes we have bands, sometimes we don't. But if you want more bands, give us some names, give us their contact information, and shoot, we can book this whole show off, the whole 4 days with bands. But
I'm also thinking if you're if you've got a club, some of the restaurants and stuff, hey man, they're looking to book bands, I'm sure, but they just don't know where to go. Maybe they just acquired the restaurant. So, if you got something like that, why let us know.
Yeah. And so I'm booking some groups now. And so we agreed, the band that I'm booking now, that get a flat fee, and hopefully you can get it in writing. Sometimes you can shake hands on it, but sometimes it's better just to get it in writing, and emails will do. So everybody, we have the emails.
Those have become legal, so that's a good way to go, is email correspondence. E-signing is good because you can do contracts that way, and you can make the contracts PDFs. This way, if they're large contracts, you can do everything online. So that's always a good thing as well.
Yeah. So I'm filling out, and I was using reverb, and I'm not sure. I mean, it looks very fancy, but sometimes I'll find out the name of the club, and I'll just go directly to the website and just fill out the paperwork there, and then follow up with a phone call or whatever. Because I did a lot of the reverb, how they got it set up where you can send like a press kit, and it looks really professional. But I really have to talk to some of these club owners and see if do they really actually read that, or do they read what they have on their website when they say book a band, click here to book the band.
Yeah.
So let me check that out. But we're doing a concert on July the 10th, which we'll have total control over that, ticket sales and so forth. And that's going to be in Aurora. And then we have another one, Mercury Cafe on the 24th. I'll be out of town, but I have some people who are going to, mend that. That's like $10 a show. Casey and friends are going to be there. And it's going to be a 2-hour show from 7 to 8.
You've got a good working relationship with Mercury Cafe.
Oh,
They've
yeah.
been around for a long time. And
Oh, yeah.
I actually played Mercury Cafe for a little bit. In between my playing and not playing, I don't know. I've been playing for a long time, but I just never stuck with it long enough to really do anything. One time I was in a band where we were going to do a tour with Nirvana, and a little story about that is a shameful one, really. I used to drink a lot, and I used to do all kinds of crazy stuff. So I got sick, and I decided, I need to go ahead and, go to the doctor. So I made an appointment, and then I decided, no, I'll just go ahead and, get over it. And so I mixed myself up one of my grandma's home brews. You know what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
Got some tea in there and some honey and some whiskey and pretty soon
Yeah.
a bass player comes over, and he sees me in the state I'm in. Well, lo and behold, I got fired, man. So no tour with Nirvana for me.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
That's-
so
that's-
I will tell you, that was a bad time, and I should have learned from back in them days.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah,
those
but
are
it's,
some stories.
Yeah, but leave some comments. And if you're in a band and you want to tell some of your stories, some of your war stories, we would love to have you on Innervision FM. Just do do info@innervisionfm.com. And well, that's gonna do it for tonight's show.
We got a fun show tomorrow.
Oh yeah, definitely. Also get my book, 6 Shades of Blindness. If for some reason it's not that, because I think the
Got all the corrections taken care of. The
Yeah,
paperbacks still available.
I have a
or
friend.
what?
I have a friend that her boyfriend at the time was my camera guy, so she's reminiscing as she's editing the book, and
that's awesome.
so it should be up and back going. But just put in like a pre-order, and you can get the book once we get it back up and there. And that's the Kindle version. The paperback version you can still get, but the Kindle version, they wanted us to format it a little bit differently and make some corrections.
I see.
So,
Okay, see. All right. Well, yeah, the paperback edition is going to be a valuable thing. Hard copy books are always good to have anyway. It's good to build a library. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you tomorrow, and God bless everybody.